Rev up your engines! ...2025 Toyota Camry video. The guy just bought this thing for $31,000 here in Clarksville, Tennessee. Yes, $31,000. And consider that my son paid 50 grand last year for his Tacoma. That's almost twice as much. As we look under the hood, realize it is a hybrid. This thing, average gas mileage is 51 miles a gallon. Now, I'm not particularly a fan of white cars, but hey, white with the black wheels and the black trim, it looks pretty sharp. This does have a CVT transmission. You know, I'm a fan of CVT transmissions generally. This is an e-CVT. It's an electronic CVT. It's a completely different ball game. The regular CVTs have drums and chains or belts. It's a new design. They have a lot of problems with them as they age. They don't feel right. You feel more slippage, kind of like an old Evinrude on a John boat. You hit it and it just goes and just moves. It's a completely different ball game. These electronic CVTs, they're using electric motors to drive them. Toyota's been using this system for decades in the Prius. They pretty much perfected it. And you might say, Scotty, but this is a Camry. Okay, Camrys have been made with hybrid systems since 2006. This is a 2025. That's 19 years. They do have a pretty good shifting system. You don't notice it shifting because it's continually variable, but it's a very complex system. But Toyota makes them so well, it's not something you really got to worry about. Now, granted, back in the day, the early Priuses, a lot of them, the electric motor generator would burn out because it overheated. Toyota fixed that problem ages ago with different kinds of cooling system. And the engine itself is no tiny little 1.5, 1.8. This is a 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine. It's a very strong engine. How the heck Toyota can squeeze 51 miles a gallon combined? This isn't city or highway, it's combined. It actually gets a little bit better in town than it does on a highway. But 50 miles a gallon, anyway you look at it, is phenomenal, right? How they can get 51 miles a gallon out of a 2.5 liter engine is beyond me, because a lot of these companies are going to little bitty 1.2 liter fours or three-cylinder engines. This is a good sized engine, so you get decent power, but it gets phenomenal gas mileage. Now, as we look in the trunk, you'll notice one thing. There's a little bitty battery inside the trunk here. The panel I took off. Now, this little bitty battery powers the gauges, the headlights, stuff like that. The main battery of the car that operates is under the back seat. It's a 251 volt hybrid battery. The headlights and everything are still working on 12 volts. The main battery and generator charges this battery using a transformer system. Steps it down from 251 to 12 volts. But you got to check this 12 volt one every once in a while. It will go out long before the hybrid battery. Generally, these hybrid batteries and Camrys, I've seen them go anywhere from 175 to 250,000 miles before they really needed replacing, sometimes even further. They're gonna last a long time, but the little ones don't last as long. And your car will get squirrely if the little one goes bad. So a good idea you buy one of these once every year or two. Have the little battery tested, and when it's bad, just replace it. It's easy, it's in the trunk. So just like a fully electric car, you can see there's orange wires, those are high voltage wires. Those all have to have integrated grounding systems inside the wiring system itself. It can't have a positive wire here and then a negative being ground, because then the ground would be 250 volts. And like I say, when you touched it, you'd be electrocuted. They don't have those problems. They know how to design them. That's why there's a 12 volt battery in the trunk. The 12 volt battery, when you turn the car on, runs the computer system. Computer checks if everything's okay. Then it closes the circuitry to allow the 251 volt battery to start operating everything else through different transformers. They have different voltages they use, but it's got to be activated by the 12 volt battery first. And of course, Toyota's got the cooling system down pat. They got separate cooling system for the battery system so it won't overheat. This is a pretty tried and true system. And I do have to truthfully say, even though I'm not a hybrid fan, if somebody smashes into one of our cars when we're driving around here or Rhode Island or in between, we got to get another car, I would seriously consider buying this car. I already was considering buying it, even before I saw this one. I did the research and I thought, gee, 51 miles a gallon, you can actually buy them for 31 grand, at least here in Clarksville, Tennessee. I don't know what they're selling for in the rest of the country. You can check yourself. Theoretically, the list of the cheaper one is only $29,000. hey, I'd rather pay the $2. And if you wanted an all-wheel drive version, all the all-wheel drive versions are only like $1,600 extra. Now, to me, what do you need all-wheel drive in a Camry for? It's not an off-road vehicle, right? And as I said, I don't even care about a V6 in one of these, because who tows stuff with a Camry? You know, this can tow a reasonable amount of stuff. But, you know, you don't need a V6 engine in a Camry, really. The Ford's put on enough horsepower. And with the boost from the electric motor, these things still get enough get up and go, as you'll see when we take it for a road test. And of course, being a hybrid and not a full electric car or a plug-in hybrid, you still got a huge trunk in this baby. Still got a huge trunk. The Camry trunk, that you can fit lots of things in. So let's check out the interior. I think it's beautiful. Black and white. Really comfy seats in the back. And these babies aren't made in Mexico. They're made in USA. This one was made in Kentucky. My wife had a used Camry station wagon we had years ago, bought it used for $3,000. It was made in Kentucky. Had no problems. It was an excellent car. So let's check the inside of the car. I like it because I'm into black. Hey, a lot of black in this car. But I like the white accents on these extremely comfortable seats. And we'll start her up. Of course, we don't hear anything because it's in hybrid mode. Now, you can drive it in EV mode if you want. It does have an electronic parking brake. I'm not a fan of these things, right? But that's the way that it goes. As you can see, the screen is now integrated. It's smooth. It fits in with the car. Look at it. It's a good design. I like it. Let's take it for a little spin. Backup camera's pretty good. You can make it wider if you want. We don't want to hit anything here. It's a skinny driveway at the end. And of course, it's making its funky electric car noise. By law, they have to make a noise when you're in electric mode. I want to have some fun, so I'm putting it in sport mode. As you can see, it's now in sport mode. And away we go. Give it a little gas just to see. Not bad. The only thing you really hear are the tires. After a while, you'll start complaining about tire noise because people will get so spoiled. They'll hear a little tire noise. Well, tires make noise when they go down the road. But of course, as soon as I put in sport mode, if you look, the gas mileage went down to 46.9 because I'm driving fast. And of course, it's got the little thing that tells you there's a stop sign. There it is. Tells you there's a stop sign, and when we look outside, there's a stop sign. So we'll take it out to our little drag strip here. Woo! Your little squeal there, it's in sports mode. This is not the old Toyota Prius turd mobile, let me tell you. We'll look behind us. There's nobody behind us. So, here we go. Not bad acceleration. Yeah, it's not a race car, but hey, it gets going. We got going 65 miles an hour pretty quick. We'll slow down a little here, 45, and then we'll floor it. And now we're going 65, so decent acceleration. It does 0 to 60 in like 7.4 seconds. Nothing outrageously fast, but it gets you where you're going. And it doesn't really matter whether you get the all-wheel drive version. That only adds like 4 horsepower. It doesn't make much difference. And it's reasonably fun to drive in the twisties. And like I said, we're going 37. We'll floor it. Okay, now we're going 65 miles an hour, 70. I mean, let's face the facts. Camrys aren't race cars. They never were. They're good, dependable cars. And now they get phenomenal gas mileage and cost a lot less than other things out there. Now you might wonder, how can they sell this car for $31,000 with all this stuff? Well, it's because sedans aren't as popular as they used to be. Camrys used to be their bigger #1 seller for decades, right? Now, it's the RAV4. Now, let's say you want a plug-in RAV4 hybrid. Look locally, they're about $54,000 at the same dealership that the guy bought this one for $31,000. So maybe think, hey, it's a nice car, got a lot of space. Do I really need an SUV? So there you have it, the truth about a brand new 2025 Toyota Camry SC Hybrid. I'm not that much of a hybrid fan, but I'd be leaning more towards 51 miles a gallon with the Toyota electronic CVT. That's a bulletproof transmission that works perfectly fine. They've been perfecting them over the years. The engineers have done some wacky stuff. I've watched guys strip them down. They are very complex with all the motors and moving parts. Now you know what you get if you're looking at one of these things. Hey, I'm here to give you a wise choice for your money. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.